Hello, it's me, Dick Jr. I'm coming to you today to read Daniel chapter 8. I'm just going to pretty much read this one through. It's about a vision that Daniel has. He's given an interpretation by Gabriel, the actual angel Gabriel, apparently. And when Daniel awakes, he still doesn't quite understand it. Okay? So, with that being said, I'm going to say that I don't quite understand it either. There's certain things in it that I feel certain ways about, or I think certain things, but I'm not going to start, speaking out just like Daniel was told not to at the end of this chapter. Okay? So if you follow with me, you're going to follow everything that Daniel has told as far as and everything what I just said. All right. I prayed before I started the video to ask God to help me to speak with you, and I suggest that anytime you place yourself in God's Word, that you pray as well and ask Him for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And He promises that He'll give it to us if we ask. It may take time. You may have to study to find it, okay? But He will give it to you. I promise. It's His promise, not my promise. All right, so I didn't make any references out of this one. It's a vision, and like I said, even Daniel was confused, and it was interpreted to him. Okay? So let's go ahead and start reading. In the 3rd year of the reign of Belshazzar the king, a vision appeared to me, Daniel, subsequent to the one which appeared to me previously, and that's the one we read in chapter 7. I looked in the vision, and while I was looking, I was in the citadel of Susa, which is in the province of Elam. And I looked in the vision, and I myself was beside Ulai canal. Then I lifted my eyes and looked, and behold, a ram which had 2 horns was standing in front of the canal. Now the 2 horns were long, but one was longer than the other, with the longer one coming up last. So we watched him come up somehow. You see what I mean? This is a very intricate vision. There's many tiny pieces here and there. If you read through it, you got to take it all in. This is not the first time I've read this. I've probably been through this in the past 2 years 4 or 5 times at least. It came up last. Verse 4. I saw the ram butting westward, northward, southward, but not eastward. Okay? I'm just going to put that out there. And no other beast could stand before him, nor was there anyone to rescue him from his power. But he did as he pleased and magnified himself. He didn't magnify anything but himself, so it was all about me. So, apparently, as these visions come about, remember how the animals are said to act, and the horns as well, and all these things. And while I was observing, behold, a male goat was coming from the west over the surface of the whole earth without touching the ground. So this is not an unusual goat. This is a strange goat because he flies, basically. And the goat had a conspicuous horn between his eyes, and goats generally have horns here, but this one had one here. Between his eyes. He came up to the ram that had the 2 horns, which I had seen standing in front of the canal, and rushed at him in his mighty wrath. I saw him come beside the ram, and he was enraged with him. And he struck the ram and shattered his 2 horns, and the ram had no strength to withstand him, the goat. So he hurled him to the ground and trampled on him, and there was none to rescue the ram from his power. Then the male goat magnified himself exceedingly. So he was even more self-magnifying than the ram was. But as soon as he was mighty, the large horn was broken, and in its place there came up 4 conspicuous horns toward the 4 winds of the earth. Out of one of them came forth a rather small horn, which grew exceedingly great toward the south, toward the east, and toward the beautiful land. It grew up to the host of heaven, and caused some of the host and some of the stars to fall to the earth, and it trampled them down. I suspect that this is talking about Satan. Okay? Fall of Satan and his angels, and being cast down to the earth. I suspect that's what it is. I'm not going to say that because I'm no theologian. It even magnifies itself to be equal with the commander of the host, and that's a capital C. I believe the commander of the host is God. You see what I mean? And at point, Satan said he was as good as God. That's when he was. Anyway. And it removed the regular sacrifice from him, and the place of his sanctuary was thrown down. And many suppose that this is talking about here on earth now, since the temple's gone and the regular sacrifice is gone. But I surmise, and this is just me, and I hear this over and over, and a lot from Christians, that this is the temple. Our heart is God's temple. Okay, so if he throws God out of your heart and Satan resides in there, and he's sitting on the throne of God's temple. It could be that simple, folks. Okay? And on account of transgression, the host will be given over to the horn along with the regular sacrifice, and it will fling truth to the ground and perform its will and prosper. And I somehow feel like we're very close to these days now, because some powerful entities are throwing truth to the ground and doing whatever they want, and they're prospering. And I don't, there's various this, that, and the others, but there are a lot of folks that are in power that are doing this type of thing to us right now, and I don't care about parties and lines and people. I'm just saying just in general. Okay. Then I heard the Holy One speaking, and another Holy One said to that particular one who was speaking, how long will the vision about the regular sacrifice apply, while the transgression causes horror, so as to allow both the holy place and the host to be trampled? He said to me, for 2,300 evenings and mornings, then the holy place will be properly restored. And anyway, I'm just going to read this vision. And when I, Daniel, had seen the vision, I sought to understand it. So Daniel had seen this, and he didn't understand it. Okay? And behold, standing before me was one who looked like a man. And I heard the voice of a man between the banks of the Ulai, and he called out and said, Gabriel, give this man an understanding of the vision. So Gabriel was commanded to speak to Daniel about the vision, see. So he came near to where I was standing, and when he came, I was frightened and fell on my face. Okay, that's pretty, yeah. But he said to me, Son of man, understand that the vision pertains to the time of the end. And I underlined that because it most literally says right here that this vision that Daniel is having pertains to the time of the end. How it pertains to it, I'm not quite sure. I see things here and there that make sense to me and other things that don't. But as you'll see, Daniel doesn't even really truly understand it, even though he's given an interpretation by the angel Gabriel. Now, while he was talking with me, I sank into a deep sleep with my face to the ground. So Daniel collapsed, basically, with face to the ground. But he touched me and made me stand upright. So that's the power guy. The angel touched him, and Daniel was put back. He said, Behold, I'm going to let you know what will occur at the final period of the indignation. I underlined this pretty much whole verse here, but the final period of the indignation. It doesn't say indignation, it says the. So this is a very specific indignation. It's the one. See what I mean? Okay. For it pertains to the appointed time of the end. So the period, the final period of the indignation pertains. So this is something that I don't understand what it means specifically, but it's something to watch for as we go on in our times, Verse 20, the ram which you saw with the two horns represents the kings of Media and Persia. The shaggy goat represents the kingdom of Greece. And the long horn that is between his eyes is the first king. The broken horn and the four horns that arise in its place represent four kingdoms which will arise from his nation, although not with his power. In the latter period of their rule, so I'm talking about these, anyway, when the transgressors have run their course, a king will arise insolent and skilled in intrigue. And this is what we need to watch for. This is the one, I believe. This is talking about the horn from Daniel's other vision, the one that takes power, the beast in Revelation. I'm not positive, but it sure sounds like it, because he'll be insolent and skilled in intrigue. So he'll be very well skilled at telling you what you want to hear, and very insolent, not caring what you think. His power will be mighty, but not by his own power, and he will destroy to an extraordinary degree and prosper and perform his will. He will destroy mighty men and holy people. That's a pretty stiff statement right there. And through his shrewdness, he will cause deceit to succeed by his influence. And he will magnify himself in his heart, and I believe as other people's as well. And he will destroy many while they are at ease. So there's going to be a time when everybody's at home, maybe, or something like that. We're all relaxing, and something's going to happen. I don't know. But and he will even oppose the Prince of Princes, and that's Jesus. But he will be broken without human agency. So in the end, this person, this being, this thing that Daniel is being told about will come down, and we won't be the ones that'll do it. God will strike it down. Okay. The vision of the evening and mornings, which has been told, is true, but keep the vision secret, for it pertains to many days in the future. That's what Gabriel told him after he gave him the interpretation and the vision. Then I, Daniel, was exhausted and sick for days. Then I got up again and carried on with the king's business, because Daniel was one of King Belshazzar's advisors. But I was astounded at the vision, and there was none to explain it. So he was astounded and still didn't understand it, because he was looking for someone to, wishing there was someone who would be able to explain it. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and end this video here. But just remember that there are hints about, like, this gives you specific things to do with things in the other vision Daniel had, and things that are written out in Revelation, because of the nuances that are written around it. But he will oppose the Prince of Princes. Come on, but he will be broken without human agency, which means the angels in heaven, divine power will break this being. Anyway, I don't want to make a lot of interpretation on Daniel, because especially this one, I can't find a lot of reference, and nobody wants to talk about it. But like I said, you get to the end of it, and the last thing that Gabriel says to Daniel is, the vision of the evening and mornings, which has been told, is true, but keep the vision secret. So if you see something or feel something about this, it's way out there or whatever, just kind of read it and put it together. Daniel didn't understand it either, is kind of what I'm trying to say. So I don't want to try to interpret something that nobody else understood, because Daniel didn't understand it. Okay, and he was told to keep it secret. All right, well, that's all I got for this one. It doesn't have a lot of references, so God bless. Thanks for watching.